So, welcome to BS Back in the Shed, episode 55, with special guest. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Middle Earth Lore. I'm Farhan, known as Middle Earth Lore. And some people call me Mel for short because it's easier to say. And I make videos on YouTube about, obviously, the Lord of the Rings. And yeah, so I do some lore stuff. I read up on the lore. I try to condense it as much as I can, make little bite-sized videos for the community. And so that's what I've been doing. And I'm glad you guys have me on. So
What got you into wanting to do that? What's your origin story?
My origin story. Okay, well, basically, I noticed that there was a ton of Star Wars YouTube channels out there, and I've been always wanting to do YouTube for a really long time. Like, I actually started back in 2009. Yeah. I had several channels, but none of them took off because they were very, like, oversaturated niches, I guess you'd say. And obviously I was a kid, so it sucked anyway. But you know, I found out that it's like, hey, there's all these Star Wars channels. Why isn't there one for the Lord of the Rings? And I had quite a fascination towards the Lord of the Rings. It was something I've always grown up with, and I read the books. I read the main ones at first. I hadn't read all of them at that point. I still haven't read all of them. There's way too many. I think I have 11 books on my shelf at this point, meaning like the Silmarillion and all the extended stuff. But there's still more. Like, that's only half of it. But you know, so where was that? Yeah, I decided, why isn't there one for that? So I'm like, you know what, before anyone else goes for it, this is something that's pretty much a gold mine, I might as well get to it. So I took the opportunity, and I knew that the show was going to come next year. So I'm like, why not take, advantage of it?
So I take it you're excited for the show.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, but I'm optimistic. Yeah.
I feel like I've heard people talk about it, and they're paranoid that it won't be what they're looking for. And I feel like I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan, personally. For me, my problem isn't Lord of the Rings. My problem is my mindset with movies versus TV shows is movies, my eyes need to be paying attention at all times. With a TV show, I feel a lot better just like, okay, I can multitask during a TV show. I don't feel like I should be multitasking during a movie. And so for that reason, I don't like 3-hour movies, really. Avengers Endgame is an exception, but that was 10 years of build-up, so.
Yeah. I mean, well, with shows, I think also there's, for me anyway, really anything I watch, but like I feel like I have to spend a lot of time actually paying close attention, because I'm more of an active watcher, I guess you could say. Yeah. Where I so even with shows, especially shows actually in my case, because there's so much that's packed in, especially nowadays, where like with modern television, with Game of Thrones and such, they have these like intricate dramas that have this really long narrative and long story. Obviously, maybe you don't need to watch it as carefully because it's not just a single 2-hour movie, but at the same time, there is that little bit of, I guess, will to want to watch all the way through and really pay attention to the little subtle nuances and details.
Yeah. So, I guess a question I have is, how long do you think you can keep Middle Earth lore going? Do you think that if you wanted to spread it out for years, you could keep spreading it out for years? Is there an endless supply of content you could go over? What?
I mean, kind of. There is a lot. I know there's people that have done these kinds of videos before. Obviously, like, there's always going to be. Yeah. There haven't really been many channels, but yeah, they do cover it. And the thing is, like, with channels like Men of the West and Geek Zone and those other guys, they have like 15-minute videos of just here's all the information you need to know about Saruman, or all the information you need to know about Gandalf, or whoever it is. Right? It's just a huge, like, just watch it. Whereas with me, I'm kind of splitting it up a bit, where it's like up to like 3 to 5 minutes videos, sometimes even 2 minutes, just to kind of get you the general idea of what's going on, little bite-sized videos. So it's like you get the information you need and you can go, right? Like, so if there's a question you have on your mind, right, and you were like, why is that the way it is? You just watch the video and you've got your answer. It's as simple as that. So yeah, I think there is to an extent an endless supply, just because, well, there's just so much content to cover. Like, I've only have the 11 books, and then there's the other, like, all the other books that are out there, like all the 12 volumes of the history of Middle Earth and things like that, which I do briefly cover on each thing depending on what the topic is. And I don't know if I'd say if it's completely endless, mostly, but like I think it will be able to, you know, span over years, because I don't do this like as often as I used to when I started because of school and stuff. So I'm just kind of doing it when I can, because each video is kind of like an assignment on itself. So, you know, that gives me more time to work on each one if I am working on it. And so there's more ideas and videos and whatever. And I have a whole list that I still haven't gone through. So, you know, it can go through years, and then we have the show as well. So there's new content coming. So yeah, I think there's a lot to chew through.
That's pretty cool, man. I'm glad that's the answer, honestly, because I feel like my first instinct here in Middle Earth lore, it's like, okay, how long can a content like about you threw out Star Wars earlier, and I've seen some people do it like with other shows. I've seen people like, oh, this is a 17-minute video about one character that basically just repeats itself but makes it sound fancy, so it sounds like it's something worthwhile. Yeah, I've seen people do that, and it's just like,
that's kind of what I wanted to avoid, and that's why that's another reason why I wanted to start this channel, because I feel like there's a lot of channels out there that will just regurgitate the same thing over and over again, not really getting to the point, and that's kind of my aim, just to get to the point, you know. So,
and I mean, as long as it accomplishes that goal, I think you're doing golden, man.
Thanks.
How do you feel, Infu, about Lord of the Rings, the Middle Earth lore? How does this make you feel?
Alright, so I do love the movies. I love the world that it's set in, like the, I guess, universe, whatever you want to call it, actually. Where it takes place in. It's got a lot of really, really interesting characters. The writing to it was extremely well done, and it's... I'm not going to say it's my favorite piece of literature ever wrote, obviously speaking. It's not, but I do enjoy them. I think they've done a really good job with the movies. It's definitely easy to miss detail unless you pay attention to certain things, I guess, or maybe go back into it and look at it again, possibly.
Yeah.
And I really like that about movies that do that. They, it's one of those. You can watch the movie for what it is and really enjoy it. But if you really want to pay attention to it, you can dive deeper into it, and I really love that, because not every writer does that with their stuff. Not every movie does that with their stuff, and sometimes what you get is what you get. There's no diving into it even further, and it's just I personally speaking, I love what you're doing in terms of just what you're doing with the channel, involving the lore and stuff like that, because there isn't enough channels out there that cover it. It's like you said, Star Wars is everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. Even for games, in terms of like Destiny 2, I can name like 3 or 4 off the top of my head, or just like in general stuff like that. Games that have stories to them, movies that have stories to them, the whole 9 yards. I could name like 4 or 5 channels for the stuff I play and movies I've watched, but honestly you're the only Middle Earth channel I can think of, and I definitely think that you deserve to grow more. I definitely think that you deserve to get bigger, and I do wish that I do wish there was more out there, whatever. I wish that it had I guess a bigger community to have more channels pop up, because I love seeing channels that collaborate with each other on stuff like that. Like, Destiny 2, for instance, my favorite YouTuber on there, his name is Mylan Games. And he's done one with, or he's done videos and live streams and stuff like that. And he's talked about the other guys that do it, like My Name is Biff or whatever, and a couple of others. And I love seeing stuff like that. And I think it would be really, neat for others to pop up, and for you to reach out to and be like, hey, I got this going. Let's do something together. Let's see what we got going on here. And that way, everyone can benefit from it, and it just expands on the universe even more. That would just be really cool.
Yeah. That's kind of another reason, is because I know that, for me anyway, when I read them and I really looked at what it was talking about, I find it to be, like, obviously it's biased at this point, but before I started, I was like, this is actually probably the greatest franchise of all time in terms, for me anyway, especially because I realized that there's relatively no plot holes, none that are actually noticeable. I mean, there are a few that people call plot holes, but there's an explanation for that. So that's kind of another reason why I want to do that, to bring light to it, and also because all of these, modern fantasies and sci-fi and stuff like that, which they're cool and everything, but I just feel like this also deserves much more attention, seeing as that, Tolkien is the father of modern fantasy. So, I just think that more of this should come to light,
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, Shifted, now that we know who you are, we know what you do, now that we've discussed that, I guess I have bad news for people. Nintendo is gonna stop repairing your Wii consoles in March. You can't get your Wii repaired no more.
Oh no.
Well, Infu's gonna be heartbroken. That's all he does. He only plays games on the Nintendo Wii. That's his thing. He only plays. He plays Destiny 2 on the Nintendo Wii somehow. I don't know how he does it.
I didn't even know you could still send them in.
Wait.
I didn't even know that was still a thing. I thought they discontinued that back in, like, what, 08, 09?
Nope.
No. Well, the console came out in 2007, I think, yeah. And I got mine in 2009-ish. 2008, 2009. I still have it. It's, like, sitting over there collecting dust, but, it's cool.
I have a Wii U sitting somewhere over to the side, that I literally bought it to play one game, got the game that I wanted to play, and before I could play it, my sister lost the controller to it, the touchscreen controller, and the game was like $40, and like a week went by, and I was like, well, fuck, I can't find it. So I took the game back to the store because I wanted my money back because I couldn't play it. And
fair.
After I took it back, like another week later, she out of nowhere is like, found it. I'm like, so I went back to the store to go buy it, and they didn't have it anymore. And I'm just like, I'm gonna bang my head up against the wall. And I never did get another copy of the game. Couldn't ever find it again.
So you didn't deny playing Destiny 2 on the Wii, though.
Yeah, you're right. It's my favorite activity.
It is. How many hours have you put in the Destiny 2 on the Wii?
I am nearing about 4,000.
Ooh. Would you say you're the best Destiny 2 Wii player?
I'd hope so, considering I'm the only one.
Hey, I'm sure other people have made it work. I'm sure other people have made it work, man.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I know we're all just heartbroken.
Twitch King of Agmar.
Yeah, I know we're just all heartbroken over the Nintendo Wii. But...
By the way,
what? Go ahead.
Just letting you know, Twitch King of Angmar is mine.
I know.
So, okay.
Yeah, yeah, I got it. So, Resident Evil, are we Resident Evil fans here?
Oh, yeah. I was actually streaming that the other day.
Ah. What all do you stream?
Sorry? Oh, PS4.
Yeah. Nice, nice. I've done a bit of PS4, some 360, and then some PC. You know. I like to... I can't sit in one area all the time. That's both figuratively and literally. Because I can't sit still it has to be the most frustrating thing for a viewer. If you just watch how I'm sitting during a multi-hour stream, you're gonna see me lean eventually one way. I'm gonna sit up and down. Generally, I go more down as time goes. I'll start like right here, and then I'll be like over here by a few hours in.
Well, I mean, that's kind of why you don't need to necessarily have your cam on. Like when I'm streaming, I don't, mostly because like I don't want to have to use my capture card because I know the Wi-Fi and the connection isn't the greatest when I have to do like a double thing. So I just stream directly from the PS4, and I don't have a PlayStation camera. So, but it also helps because you can just be relaxed and not have to worry about, oh, how am I looking on the screen. So
I always find it hilarious how I'm looking on the stream just because sometimes it's just a mess.
Yeah.
And then I can't, like, even right now, it's like, it's small lean backs, but it's not full lean backs, It's the subconscious things I do.
Yeah.
So, Infu, how big of a fan of Resident Evil are you today?
The game could literally stop existing and I wouldn't notice or care.
Well, have you know that based on collaborations of sources on leaks, it appears that Capcom is going to stick to the first person for Resident Evil 8. I'm sure this makes you really want to play the game. So I'm sure you've already pre-ordered it, Infu. You've already pre-ordered it. On the Wii, of course.
I have actually pre-ordered it, yes. I do not care about the games at all. They literally just go under my radar all the time. But
Fair.
I have a buddy who is a huge fan of them. And he pre-ordered it. And anytime he pre-orders a game, I also get it as well. So I have the game as well. It's pre-ordered. Will I play it? No. Will I download it? No. Will I consider it? No. Will it just sit in my download or ready to install list forever? Yes, it will. But that's beside the point. I do in fact own it.
What if it turns out that people say it's the game of the decade?
Game of the decade? Really? I don't know. I haven't played 7. I've seen, I guess people are having fun with it, but I played 6 and was it 2? Yeah, this is 2 is the one I'm playing now. So it's like they're decent games, but I wouldn't call them ever the best ones. So
I currently have not played. I played Resident Evil 4 on the Wii. Unironically, I did play it on the Wii. And I played Resident Evil 5 on the 360. I didn't beat either of them. And I'm going to revisit them on stream later. But I don't have a lot of Resident Evil experience. But Capcom, I've seen Capcom go from like Resident Evil 6, where they kind of plummeted on their people's opinion of them. And then when they started doing the remakes, it's like, oh, Capcom karma's gone all the way up. And I mean, Capcom, people like the first person in Resident Evil 7, and they're bringing it back for Resident Evil 8. People are really enjoying the remakes, whether it be 1, 2, soon to be... They're working on 3 now, right? Yeah, they're working on 3.
Yeah. 3's coming out in April. Yeah.
So, I mean, Capcom is... in an era where people like Bethesda are on the decline, Capcom is on the rise.
Oh, are we going to talk about Bethesda now?
I mean, I don't have any Bethesda-specific topics, but I mean, if you have something Bethesda to talk about,
well, I don't know. I feel like I've talked an ear off about 76 specifically.
Never played it.
That, but everybody knows that. You can just watch Internet Story's video. You'll get all the information you need. But yeah.
Before we move on into the topic, one of the people that's watching the stream, she is a really good friend of mine, and she wanted to say that she is enjoying watching the stream, and she's having a good time. She loves Resident Evil. She's a huge Lord of the Rings and Middle Earth fan, and she would like for you to send me your YouTube channel link because she wants to check you out. If you don't mind, get me a link after the stream.
Sure, of course. Yeah.
Cool.
Perfect. I'm glad we got this thing going. Well, I brought the Christmas cheer with Resident Evil talk, and now I'm literally going to bring the Christmas cheer. Infu and I talked about this off podcast, but the weekly free game on the Epic Game Store, which Fuck the Epic Game Store. My opinion, not a fact. My opinion.
I mean, yeah.
But we're all gonna get the Farming Simulator 2019, which is free on the Epic Game Store right now. I've had multiple people today talk to me about the Farming Simulator 2019, and I'm just like, I gotta get it. I have to do it on stream. It's gonna be hilarious.
So, you know, I feel like at this point the games are more of a meme than anything, and that's the only reason that anyone actually plays them, not for the quality farming that you do inside of Farming Simulator.
Hey,
no,
you better play Farming Simulator 2019 very fucking seriously. You need to be a farmer. You need to role play as a farmer.
Yeah, obviously.
This is a simulation. You're a farmer now.
It is really good though for memes. Like you can get a really good stream and really good videos out of that. Loads of people are gonna watch it. Like especially if you're like Markiplier or something. There you go.
Exactly. There you go. Are you gonna be downloading the Farming Simulator 2019?
Of course. If I have
most downloaded game of the year.
Yeah, of course. I don't know how big is the Farming Simulator 2019.
Honestly,
file?
I'll probably get it just because the fact that it's free. I mean, I have every month I use PlayStation Plus free games, even if I don't like them. Sometimes they're pretty good, but there'll be games I have no idea about, and I'll just be like, I'll just download it. Why not? It's free.
Yeah, it's free. You can't argue with free.
Like, if it sucks, oh well. Like, I didn't lose anything. So.
See, I would have that same mindset, but I have actually played a game. It was so bad. So bad. That free costed too much for this game. It wasn't even worth the space it took up to download. It was so fucking terrible.
What game was this?
It was called Warface.
Warface.
It was a shooter. It's a free-to-play shooter. It is probably the absolute worst thing I've ever encountered ever in the history of forever. Like, honestly speaking, it's not even a meme. It's so bad. It's just bad. And the price tag of free, like, honestly, I felt like I needed a refund from downloading and playing this fucking game.
Wow.
I mean, fair.
This would be one of those cases where you'd be like, honestly, it was so bad. You have to pay me to play it.
Yeah, 100%. If I ever re-download it, they're going to have to send me a check in the mail for at least $100.
Fair. Can't argue about that. Now, I normally don't bring on rumors to the podcast, because they are just that, rumors, and they may not happen, but Infu and I have talked about this as well, and I feel like he may be excited for it if it actually happens. It's been in the cards a little bit, and it's come back into the light as something that could happen. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic getting a remake. That's apparently back potentially on the table.
Maybe. I'd like to see it, so long as, they actually do, and they collaborate properly with whichever developer. I'm hoping it's BioWare still, but I think they've with Jedi Fallen Order, they've proven that they can, still make a good Star Wars game. So we'll see if that's what is going on.
Who knows? I mean, it could not happen at all. That's the bad part about a rumor. But I thought it was it was an interesting thing.
See,
I hear so much about it. Go ahead, Info.
I'm holding like a gun to their head, holding them at gunpoint. Like, if you don't make this game, it's over. Like, they have to remake it at this point. It has to happen. Like, how dare they even let a rumor happen and then not do it for this particular situation?
Sorry, which one?
The Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, right, yeah. It's just that I just want to let you guys know, sometimes you get cut out, and then I'm just, I have to catch up a little bit, so.
It's all good. It's all good, man.
Oh, man, the PTSD from hearing that. Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't think it's my internet, because I am streaming. I'm having no problem
I'm pretty sure it's mine. I have pretty bad internet.
I have sympathy for bad internet connections. I have sympathy.
I do too. Trust me. I can't tell you how many episodes I had to piece together what Wes was saying, because he'd be like, and on this next topic, and then it's just randomly picked back up, and then the numbers, it's like, Yep,
Yeah.
smile and nod. That's exactly what you do.
Except you have no webcam, so you're smiling and nodding at nothing.
You just imagine the owls doing the same thing.
Yeah, the owl is just...
Got the head bob going on, like, yep, that's exactly what he said.
So speaking of new topics with numbers, that was actually the next topic, a new topic with numbers. Switch worldwide sales has topped 52.48 million, with Pokemon Sword and Shield sales topping 16.06 million. And for the record, that is not their biggest title. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has almost 23. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate almost has 17.7, you might as well say. Pokemon Sword and Shield is 5th place.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, I would have thought that Smash got a little bit better, but yeah, makes sense.
It's Mario Kart 8, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Super Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, and then Sword and Shield.
Oh, there you go. I was waiting for Breath of the Wild. I'm like, is that not on the list?
I was about to ask, actually, like, please tell me it's at least in top 10. Like, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think this goes to show, even with all the controversy around Pokemon and Sword and Shield specifically, it's still the 5th best selling game on the platform.
Well, yeah, I mean, but then the thing is, when it comes to best selling things or, you know, doing the best in the box office or whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean it is good. It just means that a lot of people were anticipating it. You know?
Unfortunately, the world exists on the evil of greed. And when you make all the money, it doesn't. If you made $1 million in the box office, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
how bad your movie was, you still won.
No, I know. I'm just saying that, like, the way, like, the quality of it, it isn't dependent, obviously, on.
I'm interested to see if the next Pokemon release sees a decrease, because you could argue, like, people gave it the benefit of the doubt. Like, okay, we really want this to go well, so we're gonna buy it anyway. And so, will we see a decline next Pokemon game?
I don't know. I don't own a Switch, and I haven't obviously played Sword and Shield, but I've heard things about it. Some people seem to like it, I guess, but some others are like, it's just absolute garbage. So, I don't know.
I own it. I played it.
You do like it?
I've not actually beaten it yet, but that's not because the game is bad. I actually went into the mindset when I got the game, when I spent my $50 on that game, I went in there with the mindset of, yeah, it's gonna piss me off. It's bad right from the rip. It sucks. I started playing it, and I found a lot of things that I really liked about it, actually, and I think they've done a pretty decent job at it. It was a there's things that they could have done differently. I'm really mad about the DLC that's coming up, or the expansion or whatever that can kind of just die in a hole. I'd be alright with that. But the game itself, I think they've done a pretty good job of it. The Pokemon designs are pretty cool. I really like them. The gyms, I really like those as well. I've not made it to the Elite Four yet. I'm actually heading there now or whatever. I'm just really lazy. I've heard they changed up how that works a bit.
The laziest Pokemon trainer.
Dude, I am. You don't understand. Like, I got the game at launch. I'm still not beating it. It's bad.
It's your destiny, man. It's your destiny too.
It's because of I don't actually finish games. It's just kind of, you know, it's really weird. It's I own, as it currently stands, I want to say about 700 games, probably around that point, and I've maybe finished. I think I've finished at this point across all of them, and I want to say I probably finished maybe 60 of them or 70, maybe at best. I'm actually, like, at this point, my friends would be like, "Hey, have you played this?" Yeah, I didn't finish it. That's not surprising. And yeah, and actually, when I do finish the game, I actually get a round of applause because they're like, "What the fuck? What? How did this happen?" Yeah, so Pokemon itself is not a bad game. It's just
not finish worthy.
all my friends finished it. I don't know. I feel like the story to it was too quick, if that makes any sense. Like, I progressed to it really fast, and then by the time I got to the Elite Four, I was like, I guess I feel unsatisfied that I've already, you know, like if I would have played it straight, you can beat the game, and I want to say like a day. Honestly, like you can literally go through the whole thing in about a day. It's like that's how long it took my friends who did beat it, roughly about a day and a half. So,
18 months later, Infu still has not completed Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield.
I might do that after. I might do that whenever we get done with this, just to finish it. Just because, I want to see what the Elite Four is like, because they did change how the gyms work in it, which I thought was pretty neato. It's kind of like you go into the gym and you still have to verse the trainers like in the old ones. But in between trainer fights, there's like, I'm not going to full on say puzzles, but it's like kind of like mini games that you play in the process, and you'll kind of do a little bit of it, and then you'll first the trainer, and so on and so forth. And each one's done specifically for that gym, like the ice gym. You're given this device that doesn't work for fuck all. It made me very mad. I almost threw my Switch out window. But there's like traps that are laid throughout the gym, and you have to avoid them and get to like safe checkpoints, and then you verse the trainer on the checkpoint, keep progressing. It's pretty cool. It's just a mixture of everything. They done it really well. I'll give them some credit. I thought the game was going to be complete trash. They surprised me. I really enjoy it.
All right.
Nice, man. So, does anyone have thoughts on, before I dig into the topic, does anyone have thoughts on Google Stadia?
It's, I mean, like, I think I'd still prefer to either go console or PC. I don't know if I'd want to be streaming my games. My Wi-Fi is terrible as it is, so being able to rely an entire game on the internet is not something I personally want to do. And I don't know, I think they're trying to hype it up more than it needs to be, but I don't.
How about you, Info? How you feel?
I personally speaking think that they never should have made it. It should have just been like they looked at the idea, thought, man, this is kinda neato, balled it up and threw it in the trash can. And that should have been the end of it right there.
Well, I'll have you know, they've basically done that. Google Stadia, which has been out for about 72 days now, has gone over 40 days without a new game announcement / release, a feature update, or any real community update. Pretty much, they released it with what they had, and since then it's just been kinda...
So, what are they doing with it? Nothing?
Apparently. Where it stands, there no further updates in January after the 120 game mystery bonanza, and there's supposed to be February pro games that they haven't talked about. Still supposedly 2+ months out until 4K on the browser. Any assistant functionality at all, and the true wireless controller functionality advertised. 120 games coming, but none revealed so far. Pixel phone remains the only Android phone with Stadia functionality. No mention of doing it on the iOS. No mention at all of a Stadia base. Still no mention of family sharing. No acknowledgement that they've read or listened to the community or plan and bettering that their communication model. And the daily apps updates were scrapped for weekly updates, which seemingly are now being scrapped for bi-monthly updates.
Wow. Okay.
So Google Stadia has quickly gone from like their priority up here all the way. It plummeted down real fast.
Well, they should have seen this coming. Like, who asked for the ability to stream games? Like, I just want to play them offline. I actually am not even a huge fan of multiplayer, to be honest. Like, it depends, I guess. But like, I'd much rather just play straight up single player. I'm a very narrative based guy, which is primarily the reason why I play on my PS4 instead of getting a PC, because my favorite games just happen to be the PlayStation exclusives, and I grew up with it. So
me and you are really going to connect here, because I feel like Sony just releases the exclusives I'm looking for, whether that be The Last of Us, whether that be a Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, Until Dawn. The list can go on and on and on and on and on. They release the games that I'm looking for.
Exactly. Like, especially, I'm super stoked for Last of Us Part 2. That is, Last of Us is my all-time #1 favorite game. And then I'd say Uncharted 4 is like second, and then I'd place number 3 Red Dead Redemption 2, which is obviously you can get on anything, but still, the top 2 are Naughty Dog games, which are exclusives. So question: since we feel the same way about narrative stuff, how do you feel about Telltale? Where do they land on your personal? Well, okay, so, I mean, I used to maybe have put them somewhere top, but the issue is, okay, like, I like the way they play, right? Like, I enjoy their narratives and everything, but the issue with Telltale is, for me, is not so much what most people complain about, it's just like, oh, this barely a game. And it's like, it's not as much gameplay as some of the other games, but that's not the kind of game it is. It's supposed to be just you choose what you do. The issue with Telltale is one, they don't make enough sequels as to what they need to make. They've always kept making too many new IPs and taking on too many IPs, which is primarily the reason why they went down. And second, like, they should make it so the choices actually matter. And not just kind of like, oh, he will remember that, and then he just doesn't remember that, you know? So.
All right. So, I don't know if you're fully caught up on Telltale, but are you excited for The Wolf Among Us 2, which is coming?
Yeah. I know. Wait, did you say what my thoughts are?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on The Wolf Among Us 2 that is coming?
Well, I'm excited for it. But the thing is with that is that I feel like at this point, I'm not sure if I care too much about it, mostly because they kept saying it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And then, you know, the year was actually finally supposed to come out. Oh, we went down under. So, and now it's like at this point, it's like, is it going to be genuine? Is it going to really be like a proper sequel? Or is it just going to be something that they rushed out and just for the sake of being like, hey, here's Wolf Among Us 2, guys. Like, I don't know.
That's my thing. This is them coming back from some pretty dirty stuff that happened. So The Wolf Among Us 2 needs to be a home run. If this is a bust, if The Wolf Among Us 2 proves to be a bust or a disappointment, that's really gonna hurt Telltale's return.
Yeah.
And that could literally sink their show. Because everyone's wanted The Wolf Among Us 2. This is something people have wanted since The Wolf Among Us came out. So, yeah. This is their moment.
I mean, like, I the only reason I wanted to see most people, it's not that it's like, because the way it ended, it's like it doesn't really need to continue. Like, it's good where it ended. Like, the story's wrapped up. But, I mean, you still want to see more Bigby and Snow, and you want to know what's going to happen to them. Is something going to happen between them? You know, there's that. But I think, so I really want to see that, obviously, but I think more than anything, after I played Tales from the Borderlands, I really wanted a sequel to that. I wanted to know what happened to Fiona and Reese after they got the Vault Key. You know, but, you know, I guess we kind of somewhat know what happened to Reese in Borderlands 3, but that kind of felt really cheap. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree that Telltale's biggest problem was they wanted to have, like, oh, let's have The Walking Dead. Oh, let's have Minecraft, Batman, Guardians of the Galaxy. Let's have this, let's have that, let's have this, let's have that, let's have everything. And then it all fell apart. It was too much on their plate.
Exactly. And it's like, I wanted them to, like, I love the Batman ones. They're pretty good. They're pretty fun and whatever. But, like, and even the Walking Dead ones especially, like, obviously I want a sequel and stuff like that, but it felt like they were pushing those ones out way more than sequels to the other that just kind of, somewhat neglected.
Yeah.
Right? They just, like, I can wait for a second season or a third or whatever season it is of The Walking Dead or Batman. As long, like, if you can put that on hold, I don't mind. I just want a sequel to the other thing. I want a sequel to Game of Thrones. I want to know what happens to the Forrester family. I want to know what happens to Fiona and Reese. I want to know what happens to this and that. So,
yeah, I feel like the thing with Telltale Returning, they've lost the majority of those IPs. They won't be able to do sequels to them.
Yeah, I know.
So hopefully they correct the ship. It's like, okay, The Wolf Among Us 2, and then you start something new, assuming you don't have another IP you can go with. You start something new. My hope, I want to see more original content from Telltale, and not just, okay, we got this IP, let's do a story on this IP. I want to see them do something new that's just theirs. And, I want to see what they can do with that.
Yeah.
And maybe they can do something like that after The Wolf Among Us, or a new IP, and then you do a sequel to one of those, and
I mean,
you rotate.
I don't so much mind them bringing in new IP, like big piggybacking off of another franchise or whatever.
Yeah.
It's more, like I said, more about just being consistent and just sticking to one at a time, rather than having to just be like, hey, here's a new one, being really overly ambitious. We're Telltale. People are going to buy our stuff. We're never going to go down. I don't think they've ever said that, but...
So, Pokemon Home. They've released their premium plan. And I'd like to read off the difference between Pokemon Home's basic and premium plan. I find this very amusing. So, keep in mind it's the Nintendo eShop price for 1 month, which 30 days is what they consider the month. So, $2.99, 3 months, $4.99, and 12 months, $15.99, which honestly, I mean, it could be a lot more. So, at least it's not too outrageous. But at the same time, the fact that this exists is still kind of silly. But, so, moving Pokemon from the Pokemon Bank with the basic plan, you can't do it. You can only do it with premium. Number of Pokemon that can be deposited with the basic plan, you can have 30. With premium, 6,000. What a jump. You pay money, and apparently the bank just opens up their availability slots. Number of Pokemon that can be placed in the Wonder Box at once goes from 3 to 10. Number of Pokemon that can be placed in the GTS at once, 1 to 3. Room trade, you can now participate and host, and you now have the judge function. All for the low price of $2.99 a month, $4.99 for 3 months, or $15.99 for a year.
Highway robbery.
Pretty much.
I will say, as someone who has all consoles and systems, when it comes to subscription prices, Nintendo is definitely the cheapest. I have respect for their price because you can get the their Nintendo Plus bullshit, whatever it is, Nintendo whatever the fuck, and you get a whole year of it for $20, whereas it's like $25 for 3 months on Xbox or PlayStation.
Yeah.
So I will definitely give them some credit there.
But
go ahead.
I mean, the difference though is that with at least with PlayStation and Xbox is that they have more games that appeal to people, right? Whereas with Nintendo, as much as I like their stuff, I don't think there's I'm not going out of my way to buy a Switch just so that I can play 1 or 2 games. I'm gonna play like Breath of the Wild, maybe a Mario game or something, but I don't think I'm too invested enough to get a Switch, pay for a subscription, and then get some games that I mildly care about. So.
Oh, that's one thing about the Switch I do like, is the whole single player games that they have. See, okay, so I know you said that you would probably play like a Mario game and Breath of the Wild. You should definitely look up Octopath Traveler, though, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I believe, would also be something that would pique your interest, just because of what they are. I kind of thought the same thing about the Switch when I got mine. I was like, I'm only getting it for Breath of the Wild, and it's kind of bad, and I almost didn't get my Switch because of that. And then Octopath Traveler came out, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and all these games kept coming out. And honestly, they actually have a really good library if you dive into it and take a look. And you don't need the online to play them. I know you need the online to play or to do like Wonder Trading on Pokemon, but so far that's literally the only thing that I've encountered that I needed it for. But if you have any friends that play,
I'm kind of considering buying one, but I don't know. It's a little steep at the moment still, because like, especially if I want to put my money towards a PS5 later down, this holiday season. So,
I've thought about both the PlayStation and the Xbox, and honestly, I'm not gonna get the next gen when they first come out. There's too many console bugs at launch, and I don't trust it.
Yep.
I genuinely do not trust them.
I mean, that's kind of the direction I went. Like, and obviously they're more expensive and whatever. But the issue is when I didn't get. I feel like if I don't get it, it's going to be the same thing as what happened to the PS4, where when the PS4 was launched, it was I think over here in Canada, 400 Canadian. Yeah, 400 Canadian, and then I was like a couple of months later, then they start releasing the bundle, and it's like 500, and I don't know. I think they are just going to inflate the price.
It is very possible. It's definitely a possibility that something like that will happen. I don't know. The next generation consoles, I'm really iffy on, as it is. I really hope the rumor about you being able to play Steam games on Xbox, because I've been hearing that a lot. I've been supposedly you're going to be able to play your Steam library on the new Xbox. I've not heard anything about it for PlayStation. I really hope that this isn't a console exclusive feature. I've not seen anything on it, and if it does end up being true, I really don't want this to be an exclusive feature. I want that to be known right now. I don't want it to be exclusive. I don't want Xbox to be like, oh, we have this holding it over Sony's head. I don't want exclusives for anything. I think it's stupid. I think go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be so much of a console war anymore. Like, people have moved on from that. That's a 2013 thing. Kids in grade 8 will debate that kind of thing. But it's I think at this point, it's for Xbox anyway. I mean, I would consider maybe getting one, but the thing is, if it's going to be basically like a PC, I might as well just get a PC, right?
Yep, I think that's very fair.
The only thing that's still stopping me from completely moving over to PC is there are PC games that I can't play with my friends on Xbox, and I've been playing Xbox for a long time, so my friends list it's Xbox only, and some games I can, like Gears of War. I was able to play Gears of War with my friends when it came out, Gears 5. The Master Chief Collection I couldn't. I was pissed. Oh my god, that made me mad, because so far most games on PC I've been able to play with my friends. Halo I couldn't, and I was tipped. I was livid over that. And I don't know if they'll keep doing that. If they make it so that with the next generation Xbox, all games that are PC and Xbox, like if they pretty much release them on both and you can play cross with each other, every one of them, yeah, I would even consider swapping to PC at that point myself. But if not, I'd still have to buy an Xbox just to play with my friends, because a PC is a lot of money to expect everyone to shell out to, get one and, leave behind a console.
Yep. Absolutely agree. Now, for me, I am not going to buy any new generation thing anytime after it comes out. Part of me wants to get a PS5 immediately. Part of me really does. But I'm very stubborn with how I spend my money, and I can't justify it. Even if I started making a ton of money going forward, buying something that won't be ironed out completely on day one and wanting to play it on day one would be a frustrating experience. I'd rather wait for it to be ironed out, at least mostly. Everything's going to have issues. I have issues with the PC trying to do technical support on the stupidest of things sometimes. It's frustrating. But, to minimize that's what I would look for in a big purchase like that. So, for the, assuming we have nothing else to say on this topic.
Well, I mean, I think it's also, I think I'm gonna wait before I make that final judgment. It's just that it's like a thing where it's like, you know, since it is happening, I'm thinking probably will, but you know, obviously I'm gonna like want to look at the lineup first of all, like to see what even games are going to be on there, if it's going to be good at launch anyway. Like unless like the games of like Ghost of Tsushima is going to be launched on there, I don't know if it's like worth it, or if I stick with my PS4 Pro at the moment or whatever.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. The launch titles are very important, especially like, okay, what would you spend? We don't know how much they're going to cost yet. We've heard rumors, but they're just flat rumors. We won't know for a little bit longer. But assuming you pay a good few hundred for it.
Yeah.
Not saying few as in 3, few as in probably more than 3. But
yeah,
you want to have something you want to play on it that is worth it immediately. Otherwise, you're just buying something to look at. That's very expensive.
I also really hope that it's like it better be backwards compatible at this point. Like, yeah, I think that's a major thing, because that's the reason why I was thinking about buying, because I heard that it might be, and if it is, then of course I'm gonna get it, because then in that case I could just sell this thing, right, and then just play on there. But you know, if that's not going to be the case, then what's the point of a new generation in the first place? So
that's one of the reasons I love my Xbox so much, is being able to play my 360 and the original Xbox games only, because it has a big backwards compatibility program, and they've already said that the next generation Xbox. Now, of course, this was back when I read it. It could have changed since. I'm not sure. I'll fact check after the podcast or whatever. But last I heard, the next generation Xbox is going to have all games backwards compatibility. Like, if it's come out on the Xbox console, you can load it up and play it if you own it. That's hype. I'm really looking forward to that. I really hope it's true, because there are some Xbox games that aren't backwards compatible right now per se, that I do kind of want to play, and I'm really hoping that it lets me play them.
Yeah, I support backwards compatibility with both PS5, Xbox One X, whatever, Siren, Xbox One X, XBT 1, 2, 3, whatever they want to call it.
I don't mind the name, like the consoles themselves, like they're pretty good and they're fine. But when it comes to the naming, I facepalm, because it's like it's not hard to name the thing.
Sony has it down packed as PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5. You know what's coming out after 5?
After 4?
You know what's coming out after 5 as well? What? It's 6. It's simple. It's easy. There's no confusion.
It's like Xbox 360. Oh, does that mean 7 to 8? No, 1. Oh, okay. Does that mean 2? No. Was it Series X? Like,
yeah, I'm not exactly sure who over in the marketing department they keep bringing this guy back in. They're like, hit us with your best idea. We got this.
Listen, this is a community decision. They all suggest names. They all write it on a board, and someone throws a dart, and that determines the next console name. There's still a ton of names on there, and they're going to throw another dart, and that's going to be the next name after this one.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just like, this dude keeps hitting bangers. I have to keep bringing him back.
I think it's also like so that they can keep it mysterious of what it's going to be called, because like people will be like, oh, okay, they'll make like videos online saying the Xbox 2 or whatever they're calling it, like as the concept name. And they'll be like, huh, you thought it was going to be called the Xbox 2? Well, guess what, guys?
Guess how silly you are.
It sounds like an anime character plotline. Huh, it's not even my final form yet.
Yes, many final forms. So, would we rather move to a United States postal worker? I don't want to give the full details, just short. A teen that raised money to install a community baby box, or a man arrested in court? Which strikes your fancy?
I don't really know.
I want to know what this man done in court.
What about you?
Why did he get yeeted?
Alright, so, this guy, I'm not gonna say his name, he's 20 years old. Oh, this was in Tennessee, for the record. I was gonna avoid talking about the other Tennessee thing that happened since the last podcast, because I don't live in Tennessee no more. But I don't live in a better state. I live in Alabama, and they do some stupid shit, too. Tennessee just did some more stupid shit. So, I mean...
Rep that home state, woo!
Yeah. But, this guy was in court on Monday facing a simple marijuana possession charge, you know. But as he stood to face the judge, he began expressing his views on why weed should be legalized. And to amplify his point, he reached into his jacket and slipped out a single marijuana cigarette. He then pulled out a box of matches, and you guessed it, he lit it up. He smoked marijuana in front of the judge. And as he got several quick inhales, security personnel, of course, you know, they detained him and escorted him out. But don't worry, before he got let out completely, he turned to the gallery and declared, "The people deserve better." And the courtroom burst out laughing. And, of course, this stunt gave him a charge of disorderly conduct and simple possession of marijuana. He was also held in contempt of court for his actions.
He didn't do anything wrong. How dare they?
It was just a marijuana charge. Let me prove my point by walking up to you, trunk. Oh yeah, what's up, guys?
We didn't hurt anybody.
Don't hurt anybody.
I'm not guilty as I light this up. Don't worry.
I'm not guilty at all. I'm innocent.
I didn't do that thing you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about, guys. That was... Don't worry, he's currently only serving 10 days in jail for his contempt, and he's eligible to post a $30,000 bond afterwards.
Gasp.
Wow.
His next court appearance is scheduled for April 14th. I wonder, what is he going to do this time to show why marijuana should be legalized? What do you think he should do to persuade the judge that marijuana
I would, like, if he really wants to continue smoking, he could move up here, I guess. But I don't know if I want him up here.
He now has a felony. He probably cannot.
Yeah. So...
I mean, I think it should be legal. I think it's really stupid that
it's
illegal.
I agree.
But at the same time, there's a time and a place to fight your fights, and lighting one up in the middle of a courtroom is not one of those fights.
Judge, listen.
It's like, look, I can give you one good reason why it should be legal. All right, why is that? There's a reason.
He should have handed it to the judge. Lit it up, hand it to the judge, let him smoke it.
You know what? Yeah, that would have probably solved it. He's not sharing. God.
Yeah,
what kind of... This guy doesn't have any sort of, like, sense of decency?
Exactly.
Jeez.
This all could have been avoided if he just gave... Bars. Yeah, exactly. He should have just gave it to the judge. The judge would have clearly... Because either way, the judge would have either had to have dismissed it or arrested himself. That's big brain. That's big brain. You got to give it to the judge, make him smoke it. You have to make sure it's in his mouth so he takes a quick puff and panic. And then there you go.
Honestly, you know what he could have done? He could have just done what he did, smoked it, and all he needed to do was one simple thing. Pull out the Uno reverse card, and you got it. Like...
Exactly. That's
guards, arrest that man. No, you.
This guy's a champ.
He is.
He could have. He pulled it out, and like right after he lights it, he throws it, fucking throw it off, and it goes right in the judge's mouth. Like, sir, are you aware that you have marijuana in your mouth? Get him, guards.
Get him, officers. Oh, that would have been great.
But these guards need to be made by Bethesda.
Yes.
They need to come straight from Oblivion.
They wouldn't have noticed it.
Yes, true.
They'd have got stuck in the table trying to get to him. Poor Bethesda.
God.
Wait, this is a good question.
No.
Is weed legalized in the Elder Scrolls?
So long as they don't see you, I guess.
I mean, so far the only thing that I've been arrested for in Skyrim was for attacking someone unprompt or shooting a guard with an arrow or something like that. You know, acts of violence. Otherwise, I don't genuinely think that they're going to be like, "You, sir, you violated the law. Stop smoking there right the fuck now."
Stop that right there, criminal scum. You violated the law.
Now, this brings us to our fake sponsor of the week. We haven't talked about it yet, but this week's fake sponsor is Imperial Law. Now, clearly, Imperial Law is the true justice system. You know what's a felony under Imperial Law? Theft. You know what's considered a minor offense? Verbal assault. Infu, do you remember that story about the father who pointed a gun at his child because his child stole the final Dr. Pepper with the intent of him never getting to drink it? Do you remember this topic? Clearly, under Imperial Law, that child has a felony and that man only has a minor offense. So as I told you, Imperial Law justifies what I was saying, that the kid is really the bad person here.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, you.
No, you.
That was a freaking trip discussing that topic, because it's like
Imperial Law agrees with me.
Imperial Law can shove it. The dad held the kid at gunpoint over Dr. Pepper's.
Would you not hold someone under gunpoint over Dr. Pepper?
No.
Not gunpoint. Maybe water gunpoint. But if it was a different drink, maybe.
Oh, okay. What drink would you hold somebody at gunpoint over, Mel?
I know.
Rest in peace, Mel.
Rest in peace. You went away for a moment. Are you back? Have you disappeared from us? Yes, you're. I can hear you. Yes. Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. Your answer completely got erased.
Yep.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, I was just waiting. Like I was just catching up. I was like, yeah, whatever. It's good. I don't even remember what I said.
I don't remember what the question was, to be honest. Oh, what drink would you hold someone at gunpoint for?
Yeah, I said I don't think I would hold anyone. Oh well. Which drink actually? I'm Canadian. I wouldn't do something like that. So.
Are you really Canadian?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that makes sense then. I can respect it. So, would we like to move to the poster workle or the teen?
Those are drastic in nature, Wes.
Or I have a third. I have another one if we want to add a third to the mix. I do have a Florida man.
Oh my God, Florida man. I feel
Sure.
like we've had a Florida man or Florida woman every week for the last like 3 weeks now, so we gotta have Florida man.
I mean, Florida man and woman, they're so active in the community. I love Florida man for president. Honestly, Florida man or Florida woman for president. I am willing to put my vote in right now for an anonymous Florida man or Florida woman being the next president.
I don't even know that story. What's the story?
All right, so this week's story, because Florida man and Florida woman, they do stuff every week. This is an ongoing thing with them. A man in Florida is facing multiple charges after allegedly pointing a laser at planes trying to land at an international airport, injuring a pilot. He was caught on camera aiming a laser pointer toward a plane 4 different times. When a sheriff's helicopter tried to locate him, he pointed a laser at them. And of course, when authorities made contact with him, he grabbed a hammer and made a striking motion towards the deputies, prompting officers to deploy a taser on him. Chapman was taken to the hospital. He was later released and taken to jail. They found the laser pointer. It was in his right pants pocket, as you have it in your right pants pocket. One pilot said the laser hit him directly in the eyes, causing temporary blindness and lingering blurred vision. He is charged with aggravated assault on an officer, pointing a laser at a pilot with injury, pointing a laser at a pilot without injury and resisting without violence.
And possibly almost killing, like, everyone on the bloody plane. Like, holy shit. That's crazy.
We haven't screen shared yet tonight. I want to show you the picture of this guy. It's going to give away his name here, but I feel like seeing this guy, it just really adds to the story here. See this guy right here?
Wow.
Okay, so, what did he do? Was arrested on...
Yeah, he's...
Oh, it's him.
Yeah,
it's him. Okay.
Yeah, this is him. This is him. This is your guy.
Well,
he looks
like a superhero to me. Florida man.
Florida man to the rescue. Florida man, he's our hero. Florida man. And don't forget about Florida woman.
But obviously they're both your sidekicks.
Yes, clearly.
That guy definitely looks like the type of person to point lasers at planes.
Clearly. Hey, that guy needs things to do, man.
Yeah, like point lasers at planes. I'm more impressed with the fact that he thought he could take on the police with a hammer.
Police, watch out! I have my hammer skill all the way up.
He's Thor in training.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. It's being taken by a lady now, so...
Yes. So, would we rather go to the teen or the U.S. Postal Worker? Or a mystery third option. I can always give you a mystery third.
Is there always a mystery third? Is there always let's shake the box a little bit.
Mystery third. Okay, I'm just gonna press a random one.
Gasp.
Oh boy. So, you're never gonna believe this. This is absolutely... Filming your partner without their consent during sex has been ruled a criminal offense.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Yes.
I feel like it took I feel like it took longer than it should have to actually declare something like that. Like, I mean, clearly they are in the in a very vulnerable state during this time period, and if they don't know they're getting filmed, that's
if they don't know.
Yeah, okay, this is without their consent.
Okay, yeah.
Being filmed.
Well, it's like, duh, like...
Yeah, I mean, this is really a no-duh thing that it's like, okay, really?
Does that not already fit into the laws of consent in the first place?
Apparently it didn't. If it's just now being ruled out.
Okay.
That you know, that makes me wonder now. So all those cases beforehand, or it's like, oh man, they videoed me without consent or whatever. Like, this is confusing because I see it on the news all the time where it's like, oh, well, this person was filmed without consent, or during a sexual act, or this person was having sex and the pictures was taken and they didn't know it or whatever, and that person's now being tracked down by the police. If it wasn't illegal, why did the police take action on it? Like, I'm very confused at this. Like, why did it take them so long to make it an actual thing if they was already acting on it?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. That's strange.
I mean, do we even have swatting down packed currently? I know they've hammered down on swatting a little bit, but is swatting a resolved issue? I don't think it is.
I mean, swatting's illegal. It is entirely illegal, but it's also very hard to trace. Well, I guess depending on how smart the person is, it's really hard to actually trace the swatter. It's pretty hard to do if they're using stuff to like hide their caller ID and stuff like that, or using a calling app or something that's not connected to them. It's a whole lot. I guess they could trace the IP address it comes from, or I guess they could track down the general area. But it's so much work, they couldn't actually catch everyone that does it normally Now, if some Joe Schmo picks up his phone and's like, yes, police alarm, let's call a bomb threat, then yes, they can track that man. He is calling from his phone, but...
What if he uses Skype? What if he uses *67? Oh boy, we've lost Mel. Mel's lost to us forever.
Oh, there you go. I don't know what just happened.
You just died. You're respawning now. You're still respawning. Oh, there you go. You're respawning.
Did I get killed? Did I get killed without my consent?
Yes, you did.
God damn it.
But that's not a criminal offense. Well, I mean, it kind of is, but I mean...
There are some states in the U.S. where suicide is against the law.
It is. I wonder how many states that is.
I don't know. I also don't exactly know what they plan. Like, how do they enforce that? How do you... Like, oh man, arrest this person who's dead. Sir, what'd they do? They committed suicide. Arrest them. Like, if you say so, I guess. Like, do you put the dead body in the back of the police car? Do you actually, like, haul them in? Like, I don't understand the law itself. Like, man's is dead.
So, I'm looking it up at the most credible source I possibly could, Wikipedia, on suicide legalization. Historically, various states listed the act of suicide as a felony, but these policies were sparsely enforced. In the late 1960s, you know, back in Infu's day, 18 U.S. states had no laws against suicide. By the late 1980s, 30 of the 50 states had no laws against suicide or suicide attempts, but every state had laws declaring it a felony to aid, advise, or encourage another person to commit suicide. By the early 1990s, only 2 states still listed suicide as a crime, and these have since removed that classification. In some U.S. states, suicide is still considered an unwritten common law crime. As a common law crime, suicide can bar recovery for the late suicidal person's family in a lawsuit unless the suicidal person can be proven to have been of unsound mind. That is, the suicide must be proven to have been an involuntary act of the victim in order for the family to be awarded monetary damages by the court. This can occur when the family of the deceased sues the caregiver for negligence, and failing to provide appropriate care. Some American legal scholars look at the issue as one of personal liberty. And, you know.
Our podcast is being rated by Nault Zach.
Oh, hi.
Awesome.
Thanks for the raid, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, Zach.
Hello there.
Hopefully the slap doesn't hurt too much today. How are you doing, man? But yeah, in Maryland, it apparently is an open question as to whether suicide is illegal. In 2018, a Maryland man was convicted of an attempted suicide. So, the suicide is, I don't know how you punish someone for committing suicide. They've already ended their journey, so not much you can do, man.
Like
you
I said, they
pass it on to the next person. That's all you do.
You punish their family.
Yeah, Zach says he's pretty good, and so does Classy Gentleman.
Classy Gentleman is a bitch.
Oh, right. Yes, of course.
Classy Gentleman's a bitch.
Wait,
Thanks
what?
for the follow, Webby Donald.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Thanks for the follow.
Never mind. See, when it cuts out, I mishear things, and then, yeah.
It's all good, man. It happens, you know. So, yeah. U.S. postal worker, a teen or the mystery box?
I think we've been avoiding the first two a lot.
Yeah,
let's go with the teen. Teen.
All right, so.
Let's go with the teen.
A teen, an Indiana teen, is being honored after a distressed parent left a newborn child in a baby drop-off box he raised money to install. This 19-year-old spent more than a year mowing lawns and scrapping metal to raise the $10,000 needed to purchase a safe haven baby box in a fire department. He was a junior at a high school when he decided to raise the funds as part of his senior project. And, you know, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into it. And what do you know? In June 2019, the box was finally installed at the fire department, which are meant to prevent abandonment of newborns, and they found a healthy baby girl inside. And of course, an alarm in the box alerted firefighters to the baby's presence within a minute of her arrival. She was only 1 hour old, they estimated, and they're ecstatic that the system is being used. They provided care until an ambulance could shuttle her to a hospital, and once the baby is released, she will be in custody of state child service workers. And this fire department box is one of 24 installed in several states since 2017 by the Safe Haven baby boxes. Now, how do we feel about Safe Haven
about this whole situation?
Baby box.
How else am I supposed to feel? Am I supposed to jump for joy and be like, hooray? Like, I don't know. It's pretty morbid, I guess.
I mean,
in some ways, but
this brings up a question that, what's the legality of abandoning your baby in a baby box? What can you just do that legally? Is that a thing you can do? I don't think you can legally do that.
I don't know. I don't know those kinds of. If the whole consent video camera thing during sex is only now being something, like, I wouldn't be surprised if this isn't a law either. Like,
baby box law will be passed in 2030.
See, I don't know about the baby box specifically in terms of the law, but I do know that you actually can abandon your kid to a official that is like certified to handle it. I forget exactly where all that is, but you can, if you don't think you can care for the kid, take care of the kid, or raise it properly amongst other things due to drugs or whatever else, but you still have the kid, you can take said kid, baby, whatever, to one of these facilities or wherever, and you can legally leave it there without actually getting in trouble because of it being in proper care. I just forget exactly where said places are, because it wasn't that long ago that I was actually reading up on this exact topic, ironically, and yeah, it's not
good
illegal.
mind thinks alike.
Yeah, it's not illegal to as long as you leave it with I think it was the police department, maybe a fire department that doesn't have a baby box. I'm not really sure. I would imagine maybe DSS, CSS, something like that, Child Social Services or whatever, something like that, somewhere where they're actually, legally allowed to take care of kids or whatever. I don't think you can actually legally get in trouble for it. No, it's not against the law. Now, if you dump it like a river, then yeah, that you're going to jail.
Okay, now I have a question, because if you can legally give away your child just because they're in a legally supported place, how come a father, because this is primarily who it happens to, if the mother and father don't really both want the baby, if the father wants out, 99% of the time, he's fucked in court. He has to pay for the next 18 years. That's his life now. Even if he didn't want the baby, he has to deal with 18 years of paying. How come that's a thing when you can just abandon the baby legally?
I mean, because I believe that has something to do with, like, as long as the kid still stays with the parent, I believe most of the time it has to do with that. It involves that, but like with entire abandonment, obviously there is no parent staying in said kid's life. They are just, they're just kind of like, here, baby, gone. I'm out, peace. And there's no one to actually, I guess. I mean, what are they realistically going to do in that situation? They want to track down the mom and be like, "Hey, you owe the state money for taking care of this kid." I don't actually think they can do that. But
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that in the same way that she should not be legally responsible, the man shouldn't be legally responsible either. Because here's my thing, and this is going to get on an extreme, and if we don't want to touch on it, if we want to just skirt away after I say it, all good.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This is just my opinion. I'm not saying this is fact. This is what I personally think.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the woman has the right to an abortion. And if she doesn't want to have the kid, all good. That's a communication thing between the relationship. If the father wants out, but the mother wants the kid, the father shouldn't be punished for that. In the same way that I don't think she should pay any money in a weird scenario if she had an abortion and the father wanted the kid. I feel like both parties should have a legal, no 18 years of financial burden way out. There should be a way out for everyone if they want it.
But I don't know. I think this would be. Isn't this a bit different though? Like if you look at an abortion versus just leaving your kid on the side of the road. I mean, I'm pretty sure
it's different from the baby box, but I'm talking about both parties wanting an out. This is kind of a different topic, just related to that.
Oh, that kind of stuff. Yeah. If they both want out, yeah, obviously, I don't think they should be punished. No.
Yeah, I feel like there should be an equal thing. The father currently, if the mother wants the baby, the father is liable. But if the mother didn't want the baby, you know, that's
that's okay. Yeah, so
both
I guess
parties should have an out.
Oh yeah. Okay, now I understand what you're. Yeah. It's like that's actually very difficult. Like if so, you're saying if one wants to have a kid but the other doesn't.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess it's to do with both parties, but then at the same time, like if it does all the way stem down to the basic fact that it is like if she is the one who's burying the child for those 9 months,
yes,
the guy isn't doing that. So it isn't really a something you can say, hey, here's an equal say in the matter. No, I think there should be a bit more leniency towards what she would want, especially if it's to do with her not wanting the child, you know?
Exactly. But, if she wants the abortion, she has every right to not want the child. But in the same way that I feel like she has the right to an abortion, and that's her choice, not his choice, he should have the choice to want out as well. Because that's his choice. Why does he not get a choice, but she does? I don't think they should be the same choice. He doesn't have the right to tell her whether or not she can get an abortion, in my opinion. But I feel like he should be able to have a way out as well.
Yeah.
That's my position.
From, like, and I'm just speaking out of, I guess, like, the thing about this issue is that, like, I look at it from, I guess, the angle that means, like, of what most people would say, and including me. Like, I feel kind of conflicted about it because there's also a religious aspect towards it all as well.
Yes.
So it makes it all the more difficult. However, it's like, I think that if they're not even religious in the first place, does it even matter? No. But if they were, if this was a more religious practice, like if they were, right, or they did have that, were part of that said religion where it forbids it, for example, I am, right, then in that case, obviously, you don't do it. But yeah, it's a very, very difficult and tough conversation to have. So.
Yeah, I agree. You know, there is no easy decision here either way. There is absolutely no easy decision either way. Yeah. And this is not a lighthearted topic. There is no quick, there you go to it. It's very hard and very complicated, and you know, we can move on from there because I feel like we've all said, unless Infu has anything to add, of course. You and I have said our piece.
I would rather just move on, to be honest.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah. So let's move on from that. But
poster
from
worker.
The next choice, I think we should leave it to the chat to decide this time.
Yeah, we have a poster worker. We have the Amazon doorbell, the Ring, or the mystery box.
Let's see.
We will see. I enjoy the variety of topics we bring. I enjoy the spice of things. I definitely feel like it's a good thing. It's a good variety.
Yeah.
And
it's just sometimes. Sorry.
I was gonna say, what happens if chat doesn't?
Then we pick for him.
Yeah. Hurry up, chat.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's just you got cut off when I was waiting. Yeah. Yeah, so what was I saying? Right. Like, I like the diversity of the topics, but at the same time, it's like certain topics, it's just difficult to talk about, especially the one that we just talked about. And it's like, I feel like because
that's why I started it with, if we just want to skirt past it, we can skirt past it. I get it. I do. It's just, it's things I just feel like I wanted to say.
I gotta say, since I've become a co-host on this podcast, I think that might be the heaviest topic that we've actually discussed too. We normally here on the BS podcast, the best podcast you can listen to, mind you, we usually have our fun with it, and we usually take our topics not super seriously. We try to keep it kind of lighthearted, and at the same time, we have kind of dipped into some more serious topics, politics and such, and other things. But I definitely got to say that is probably the hardest one that we have actually went into. So there's that.
And I mean, that's the thing. Like, I get it's not for everyone. If it's like, okay, that this is not something we want to talk about, then I'll avoid it in the future. But, it's
all good.
Yeah.
So did chat decide?
Chat did not decide. So the decision remains: postal worker, the Amazon Ring doorbell, or the mystery box.
Okay. Postal worker, I guess.
Postal worker.
We've been leaving that one off, so I guess. Yeah.
Okay, before I go into it, do we feel like this is going to be an underwhelming topic? Is that why the postal worker has not been chosen? I'm curious.
I don't know. It just sounds like, postal worker. Like puts the mail in, and I don't know. Like, did he deliver it to the wrong address? Oh no! Like, I don't know. What kind of scandal is he up to? Or does he have like some secret murder? There's a secret murderer, serial killer who like keeps people in their basements.
He was hiding in the box with a sword, waiting home eventually.
All right, so a United States postal worker was caught with a public storage unit full of mail he never delivered. He pled guilty to charges of delay of mail by a postal employee in August of 2019. He worked at a mail carrier, and he said he felt pressured and couldn't make time to complete his mail route. He told authorities that he rented a public storage unit for $49 a month for the sole purpose of delivering mail he could not deliver. The employee said he started hiding mail in November or December 2018, and he rented the storage unit in February of 2019.
Why is he hiding it?
He put the mail he was unable to deliver in the unit from that time up until he was discovered in May of 2019. He told authorities he intended to deliver the mail in the storage unit, but he fell behind and was never able to. He never destroyed any of the mail. Now, there was almost 5,000 pieces of mail in the storage unit. They discovered 97 pieces of first-class mail, which included letters from the Department of Motor Vehicles, the IRS, insurance company, bank statements, and other tax return documents. Magazines and other publications made up 115 pieces of mail. There was also one undelivered package found in the unit. The bulk of the mail was advertisements, more than 4,700 ads at that. The Postal Service delivered the first-class mail after it was found out. The ads were discarded because they were old by then, and of course, the employee no longer worked for the Postal Service. He resigned in 2019, and he worked for 14 months prior to his resignation.
Okay, is there a reason why he didn't? Did he just feel like...
he felt pressured and couldn't make time to complete his mail route.
What do you mean you couldn't? That's your job. That's the, like, you don't have anything else to do you? Like, and if you do, why are you working this other job where you... And where do you get, like, okay, so if you don't have time to deliver it, then you have time to go to a storage unit and just, like,
pay $49 a month.
What?
he could face a fine or up to 5 years in prison according to federal law.
That's baffling.
I don't even know. That's such a ridiculous, like. Oh god. Okay. Well, like at least it's not the way that you opened with it. You're like found a crate full. I'm like crate full of what? Like bodies or something? And then you're like mail. And I'm like, oh.
He didn't deliver his mail, man.
What?
Now that I've told you about the topic, do you feel it was underwhelming? Was it better than you hoped it would be?
In a surprising way, yes, because it's just so ridiculous and just what, and much more lighthearted, I think.
I'm glad it didn't end in murder.
I mean, I'm sure someone wanted to murder him for not delivering the mail.
I mean, yeah, that's just, man, it's like, hey, did you deliver that package? Yeah, it's been shipped months ago. Oh, I never got it.
That reminds me of this one video by what's it called? VLDL, Viva Dirt League, and I guess I'll send it later. But it's hilarious. Probably one of my favorite videos.
Very nice, very nice. I'm glad that the postal service worker topic went as well as I hoped it would. It didn't sound good on the outside, but it was a swing and a hit. Mm-hmm. And that's all I care about. So, now that we nailed those 3 times, I'm going to throw out 3 more. We got KFC. We got, of course, the Amazon Ring doorbell. Or, a Michigan inmate.
Wait, the Amazon what?
The Amazon Ring doorbell.
Amazon Ring doorbell, okay. Sure, we'll go with that one.
Alrighty. So, surprise, surprise. The Amazon doorbell ring, which, let's see, does this go into the details of what the ring is for people that are unaware? You know, the ring uses third-party service providers to evaluate the use of the mobile app, which helps us improve features, optimize. And the problem is, the danger in sending even small bits of information is that analytics and tracking companies are able to combine these bits together to form a unique picture of the user's device. And this cohesive whole represents a fingerprint that follows the user as they interact with other apps and use their device. In essence, providing trackers the ability to spy on what a user is doing in their digital lives and when they're doing it. The 5 companies identified as receiving information were Facebook via its Graph API, each user's time zone, device model, and screen resolution, and a unique identifier. Branch, which describes itself as a deep linking platform, a number of unique identifiers as well as each other's users' IP address, device model, and screen resolution. Apps Flyer, a big data company. Mixpanel, the most information, including users' full names, email addresses, device information, and app settings. And then the Google-owned Crash Analytics, an amount of customer data yet to be determined. And, you know, you can't trust nothing.
I mean, so I'm in communications and media studies, so like this is kind of my thing. But and they try to keep making, like, there's always like the topic of, you know, about privacy and data tracking and whatnot. But to be honest, I don't think it quite, like, it's not as big of a deal as people try to make it out to be. Like, of course, you don't want your data tracked and whatever. You want privacy, but at the same time, like, this thing isn't gonna be the death of you. There's gonna be several other ways that they're gonna get your information anyway, and as long as you don't do something stupid, they're not gonna ever need that information other than to sell it to ads companies and then just kind of advertise it back to you. And then what does it do? You don't really need to click on it. It's just kind of there. So, you know.
I generally agree with you. For me, I feel like anyone that's super serious about, oh, I'm gonna fight back. I'm not gonna use any Google products. I'm gonna make sure my privacy is secure. All right. Well, if you've talked to me on Discord, Your information is not secure. I've only gotten one specific Spotify ad in my life. It was an exercise ad. And it was minutes after on Discord I talked about I was going and exercising. Your messages are not safe on Discord on that end. I have no factual basis on that besides my experience there. That to me was proof enough.
So am I gonna start seeing, like, I don't know, mail delivery failure ads now?
I hope so. Is your mail not getting delivered fast enough? Well, you should go with our mail subscription service.
Have you guys ever like been talking about something to someone, and then like you open up your phone and go to Google something or go on Facebook or something like that, and you see an ad for what you was just talking about pop up, and it's just like, whoa, the fuck?
Yep.
Because
kind of, yeah.
That's fucked. It really makes you think. It's like, like the first couple times it happened, I was like, oh, it's a coincidence, and now it's just like,
nope,
they're everywhere.
They are everywhere. So, AT&T loses 1.16 million streaming pay TV subs. HBO Max hits Warner Media earnings. So, AT&T declining, continuing to decline.
Levi said he heard about this earlier.
Yes. Yes.
And Classy Gentleman said it's an interesting topic.
By the way, I am the Classy Gentleman. I was just typing in chat. Just
you are the Classy Gentleman. Okay.
Yes, Infu is in fact the classiest of gentlemen.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then you said, no, he's... So, and then, I don't know.
Wait, that reminds me. You're here, Infu. I know your username now. Okay. That's what I needed to know earlier.
What?
Yeah,
what?
hold on. We're derailing the podcast for a hot second. There you go.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
There
That's
you
cool.
go. Yep, there you go. I meant to do that days ago, but I didn't know your name, so there you go. For the record, for the podcast, I just made him through a mod on Twitch. Although he doesn't ever go to a Twitch stream, but as a BS host, I feel like he should absolutely be a mod.
Yeah.
Yes.
While we're live, he is here. He is on Twitch, so this is how I hook him in. This is my big scam for Infu. I'm hooking him in Twitch.
So you better bring all your grilled cheese.
You better.
And sit down and mod the hell out of the thing.
Yeah. You better do your job, Infu. I'm putting you to work now. You're gonna be tardy again, probably.
Well, I mean, it's not too often that it happens, but maybe.
Yeah.
Nah.
Modding is not as difficult as it seems. It's really pretty easy, unless like I'm able to. I don't know how many things I'm modding right now. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 or 6 Discord servers, and then like a stream or 2. So it's not too bad.
I'm about the same boat.
Now, this topic is kind of like a sequel to a previous topic. We talked about plant-based foods a lot here on the podcast. I've tried and talked about it anytime I've seen a topic about it because I really enjoy the topic. And I have 2. One is an actual topic, and one is a conversation I had not a week ago about. So Beyond Meat said that they are going to supply plant-based fried chicken to several KFC stores in Tennessee and North Carolina after a test conducted last year showed strong consumer demand. So, Beyond Meat is absolutely continuing to spread more and more. But part of the issue that I've talked about is the advertisement that I think is bad advertising. You don't need to advertise this as this is your replacement for meat. That's not the way to go with this. I like to think of it as this is just a different flavor. This is your plant-based flavor. And I think when you look at it like that, you can enjoy it a lot more than like, oh, this doesn't taste like my normal. And that's a conversation I had where someone said they weren't going to try it because they've been told it doesn't taste like meat. But that's not what it should be. That's not what it's supposed to be. When they advertise it like that, it's bad for them because that's not how they're going to win.
Someone should have told Burger King that with the Impossible Whopper.
That's what we were talking about, me and the dude. He brought up the Impossible Whopper because that's how they advertise it, but that's not how you should advertise it. That's gonna lead to people crapping on the plant-based stuff. It's not good.
Wait, so this is about being able to turn plant-based stuff into meat?
The advertisement they do is they, instead of it being made of meat, it's made out of the plant-based stuff, and they advertise that it just tastes exactly like the burger or whatever. And now obviously this isn't true. It isn't going to taste exactly, it can taste exactly the same if you go out of your way. You're not going to get it out of Burger King. You're not.
Yeah.
That's not the way you're going to do it. But even then, advertising it as an exact solution to meat, I don't think you're really going to win people over that way. I think you have to tout it as your alternative flavor. I think that's the way to go about it. What are your thoughts on plant-based food? Are you for plant-based food, or are you?
Yeah, I'm for it, I guess. Even if they do turn into being, like, I've had a few things, like few veggie burgers. I mean, of course they're not going to be the same, but like if a lot of times there's no alternative, right? Because I'll have, I'm like, the only time I can have meat obviously is when it's, you know, prepared in a certain way, when it's halal.
Yeah.
But if there's no other, like the other alternative is if they don't have that, then I'll go with like veggie. So for example, A&W, I'm pretty sure they do Beyond Meat, and now Tim Hortons, they also do that. So yeah.
I really enjoy seeing the plant-based stuff grow. I want to continue to see it kind of spread out, grow. I want to hear more people's opinions on it that actually try it. I'm just really curious to see how it grows.
Well, I know one, I don't know if he's watching the stream right now, but one of my friends on this other server, on Zach's server, in fact, says that he's tried it. Like he has it. I think he's had the Tim Hortons one, and he is not a fan of it at all. I'm pretty sure he hates it, but I actually personally like it. But so, but
I should be the captain of the advertising team for the plant-based food. I feel like my mindset is the way they're gonna win.
Right.
Advertising it as, oh, this tastes exactly like meat, is a losing battle.
Now I do know that we've had our discussions on here several times now throughout the episodes, actually, about just in general healthier options and, you know, healthier foods and stuff like that. And I'm for it. I'm definitely for it. In fact, it wasn't that long ago. I'll admit it. I bought some fun nuggets, the little dinosaur chicken nuggets. I bought some because those things slap. They're the best. And it was the ones that was made with vegetables, because I wanted to try it because it's supposed to be a healthier option. And honestly, it tasted pretty good. It did not taste like the actual the chicken nuggets, like, you know, the whole chicken, but you could definitely tell because it had cauliflower and chickpeas in it. And you could taste the cauliflower in it, but it actually gave it its own unique flavor, and I actually really enjoyed it. And I would definitely say, if you get the option, like if you go to Walmart or you know, your local neighborhood market, you see some and it's got the made with vegetables stamp on it or like whatever, I would say actually pick up a bag and give it a try. It's actually really good, and it's definitely it's definitely something that I believe could catch on.
Yeah.
I honestly, I wish they would do more in the middle options like that, like burgers and stuff like that, instead of trying to make it entirely plant-based. Have a middle option as well. It's like, yeah, it's still meat, but it's also made with like you know, other things to make it healthier. And I feel like if they could get that going first, then people would be more inclined to I feel like they could really sell the idea of plant-based stuff more if they was to, you know, get people on the ground with half and half first, because it's a different flavor entirely, and I feel like if they could sell the half and half and get people on board with it, then whenever the full stuff comes out where it's full on plant, I feel like they would have an easier time getting people on board because they're already used to the different flavoring as it is, and they would be at least more willing to give it a try. So I think they should be focusing on that type of stuff before they're trying to say, look at our, plant-based burger that tastes just like the burger, even though we all know for a fact it doesn't, kind of deal.
Yeah, I definitely. The lab grown meat as well that we've also kind of covered. I still want to see more about that. That's something I'm really interested in seeing more on. It's really interesting to me, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. So,
I mean, let's see. One, thank you for coming on. I appreciated it. I think you were a good time. I am, hopefully my deep topic doesn't make you hate the podcast. Apparently it was too far.
No, it's
apparently
fine.
It was a little bit farther than I should have gone.
Don't worry about it.
But yeah, I'm glad you came on. Please tell everyone where they can find you. That awkward moment where his internet breaks, so he doesn't get the connection.
Oh, right. Oh, so where they can follow me. Yeah.
Yes.
So obviously, youtube.com/MiddleEarthLore, or I have also Twitter @LoreMiddleEarth, Instagram @MiddleEarthLore, and here on Twitch, the Twitch King of Angmar, where I stream occasionally. And yeah, thank you guys for having me.
It was a good time.
Really fun to be on here.
I'm glad you could come on.
Certain things like video games and all this stuff, like the meal guy.
We obviously provide the highest quality for our guests here at the BS Podcast.
Yep, you guys sure do.
Well, me and Infu are going to keep going. I have a few more things I wanted to run by, so, I mean, thank you.
Well, I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Yeah, I figure, for the record, for the podcast, I've never been good at being like, oh, I still want to continue, but we did have a guest. So that's my way of I have more to talk about. So thank you. I appreciated you coming on, Mel. Thank you. And now we're going to continue going on.
It was a good time.
It was a good time. I enjoyed him. The show must go on. I have a few more topics. We always go a little bit. We're not even an hour and 50 minutes in currently. So I always have about 2 hours worth of stuff, and I have a few more topics. So I have 5 more things. And I feel like a man was cited for using a fake skeleton to drive in the HOV lane. Now, just off that, before I go in more detail, how do you feel about that? How does that make you feel?
That was... I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on that. I hate to say it, but because it's the first time I've actually really heard of something like that. So it's... Yeah, I don't really have an opinion on it, sorry.
That's fair. That's very fair. So a 62-year-old man was sighted in Arizona this week after trying to disguise a fake skeleton as a passenger just to use the HOV lane. The Arizona Department of Public Safety says a trooper pulled over the man on Thursday after noticing he had placed a fake skeleton in the passenger's front seat. The skeleton was sitting upright, wearing a hat and tied to the front seat. Department spokesman said the troopers cite about 7,000 HOV lane violations every year. Last April, a man was pulled over after driving in the HOV lane after a mannequin wearing a sweatshirt, baseball cap, and sunglasses. Now, I do have a picture, but I was kind of hoping you'd have an opinion beforehand so I could fill up the chat real quick. So, GG, man.
Yeah, it's my bad. I believe it or not, this is the first time I'm actually really hearing. I was unaware that this was an actual problem that they had.
I've heard about people using the mannequins for so many years now. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's I'm not surprised because people will do anything as strange as that sounds, but that is awesome.
So yeah, here it is. This is your skeleton, which is literally tied to the chair with a hat on, so you can't see its face. This is A+.
I mean, he might have gotten away with it if, like, it hadn't been tied there. Like, I mean, honestly speaking, how you gonna tie it to it and be like, looks good, I'll never get caught?
I'll have you know. I wonder if that skeleton had a name. What would you have named that skeleton? You had to have named it, right? I would have named it.
I'd have probably named it Davy Jones.
Fair. Davy Jones. That is Davy Jones. I dig. Now, honestly...
Mr. Bones.
Mr. Bones. Mr. Bones is a great name for it. It really is.
It is.
Now, to be honest, I will say, I did just bring up that topic for the picture. The picture was worth it to me. I really like the picture they had with it. Now, mathematicians have solved traffic jams. Can you believe it? Math. Most traffic jams are unnecessary, and this deeply irks the mathematicians who specialize in traffic flow. They reserve particular vitriol for local transport engineers. They do not have competencies in the field of system-related increases in traffic performance. If you would like to solve urban traffic jams forever so much, he co-authored a book. And there's 4 big takeaways. All drivers need to be on the same navigational system. Cars can only be efficiently rerouted as instructions come from one center hub. One navigation system rerouting some drivers does not solve traffic jams. Parking bans. Many urban roads are too narrow and cannot be physically widened. What do you know? If there's a road, you can't just walk up to it and be like, oh, stretch the road. You can't do it. Sorry to break it to you. Traffic flow models can indicate where parking spots should be turned into lanes. Green lanes. For cities that want to increase electric car use, special lanes should be created for electric cars, providing an incentive for their use. And digital twins. Traffic demands and available infrastructure can only be balanced with digital modeling that creates an entire twin of existing roadways. The software will be an extremely useful thought tool in the hands of transport engineers. Now, do you feel that these confident mathematicians that have solved the traffic jams have solved the traffic jams?
Okay, so
they're
like,
confident.
I just want to know how they pitched the idea of fixing the roads to a mathematician.
That's
like,
fair.
How do you go up to someone and is like, yes, sir, I know that you went to school to become this math man, and your whole life is based around math. Now then, I need you to calculate these fucking roads. Like, how do you pitch that to someone? Like, I'd be pretty pissed off if someone come up to me and they're like, hey, so how are you pretty good at math? Like, yeah, I am. Why? Oh, buddy, do I got a job for you? You're gonna fix our roads.
Oh
like,
boy.
Yeah. Hey,
Gonna fix those roads hard. Gotta
like,
fix them right.
I don't know, dude. I feel like that should be someone else's job, not a mathematician.
That's fair. That's very fair. I also came to a realization just now that when we lost Mel, it messed with the layout, so I have to fix that. So I'm currently fixing it.
Oh, I see that.
That's A+, man. And for some reason, I am A+ here. So okay, whatever. I don't need 3 of them now. Which one's 3? This one's 2. He was 2. I'm gonna get rid of it.
I like how it's just your arm right there, just zoomed right in on it.
Is that what you see currently?
Yeah, on the Twitch thing or whatever, it was just like where his was. It was just like it was zoomed in super close on your arm.
I see. I see. That's A+.
Yeah, see right there it is. Your arm just.
Yep. I'm also currently. I'm forgetful of which button I needed, so it took me an extra hot second. Alrighty, now that that's fixed. I'm great at this. To be fair, it was the first time I needed to do that on command, not thinking about it. So, you know.
You'll get better at it.
I'll get better at it. And it's also not perfect now, but it's whatever. It's good enough for me, man. That's all that matters. All right, so moving the show forward, I've kept the last 3 topics because I'm unsure if I even want to go into them because I'm unsure how they are. So we're just gonna go with it because I guess that's my theme tonight. Why not? None of them are political, by the way, so don't worry. No more politics.
Fantastic.
My hands are up on politics. Don't worry. So, a Michigan man serving a 60-year prison sentence for selling marijuana to an informant is taking a second chance to ask for clemency from the governor. He's been in prison since 1996 after a jury convicted him of 3 counts of selling marijuana and 2 counts of illegal possession of a firearm as a felony defender. Oh, that's a great gift. That's a great gift. His sentence is 40 to 60 years. He has never committed a violent act according to the Free Michael Thompson online petition. It is an online petition, so they want his name out there. So there you go. He was labeled violent because police found guns at his house, even though in Michigan people can legally and openly carry guns. One was an antique and another was his wife's gun. Now, I actually know, well, I watch someone that this has happened to, except they didn't get 40 to 60 years. They had like a few months, and that was about it. But they didn't sell. To be fair, they did not sell. I mean, they did get punished for distribution because someone else did smoke it as well with them. But they did not get 40 to 60 years. That seems pretty brutal, I gotta say.
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy.
Now, do you think this guy should walk up to the judge, be like, hey, judge?
I 100% believe that, yes, he definitely should. You know, he has to walk in. He just has to. It has to be a thing now. Anytime someone gets arrested for pot, they just have to come into the courtroom, light one up, and just that
double down.
Yeah,
you gotta double down. We are not guilty. Here you go, judge. Have this marijuana and tell me if it does not make you want to legalize it.
That would be amazing. I mean, I agree it would be. I don't think the raid happened after we actually discussed that topic, wasn't it?
What?
I said the raid or whatever. They didn't come in until after that topic was actually discussed, right? The whole courtroom thing. Where that come from?
I don't remember. I don't remember the timeline.
I don't either. Well, quick rundown just in case. We earlier, in case you guys didn't hear it, there was one of the topics. There was a guy who got arrested, and in the courtroom, he right in the middle of it, he just decided to pull one out and just light it up and smoke it right there on the spot.
All right. So, I'm looking at the last 2 topics, and one of them is just dark, and it's not very funny. And it's pretty horrible. So
you say is with a laugh and a smile.
I say with a laugh and a smile. And the other one is also it's pretty interesting. Would you like to hear either of them, knowing that they're kind of dark?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. So, a 4-year-old Indiana boy was accidentally shot in the head while play wrestling with his father. He died. Him and his father were play wrestling in their home on January 19th when the man's concealed handgun slipped from his back and went off. The shot struck both of them in the head. The father is expected to recover, but the kid died. The sheriff's office hasn't said whether the father will be charged, citing an ongoing investigation. According to the National Safety Council, accidental and preventable gun deaths make up 1% of overall gun deaths related in the U.S. So, I guess my question to you is, should the father have any legal punishments for this?
Yeah.
What would you punish him with?
I'm not entirely sure exactly what charges that he would entirely get. I'd have to think of that. Off the top of my head, I don't know off the top of my, just. But
you're a judge now, Infu. You have to give a decision.
Well,
have this marijuana and make a decision.
Honestly, I'd say reckless endangerment, because
what's the legal punishment for reckless endangerment?
I'm not entirely sure.
I'm gonna look it up.
Because as someone who I do have a few guns. It has been said multiple times now. I do. Anytime you are going to, if you're going to be doing something like that in your own home, you don't need to have it in your pocket. You don't need to have it loaded in your pocket. Have if it's a revolver, have a speed clip that's loaded off to the side. Don't keep it loaded, or in the event, only keep like 1 or 2 bullets in it, and then leave the rest open and keep them away from the barrel, or keep the magazine out of the. If it's a semi-auto, keep the magazine out of the pistol. If you're going to keep it on you, something like that, keep the magazine separate out of it. Make sure it's been discharged, something like that. There is several ways you can practice safety with guns in your own home. And the fact that he had it in his pocket, knowing that he was going to be doing the activities that he was going to be doing with a loaded gun, that is, to me, reckless endangerment, and it costed someone their life that it shouldn't have happened, and it was his negligence as a gun owner, and it shouldn't. He definitely should. He should face some sort of punishment. Yeah, I know it wasn't intentional, but if every accidental gunshot that happens, the person isn't, if they don't start punishing these, then they're just going to keep happening, in my opinion, because people are like, oh, they don't think about that kind of stuff, and they're just like, oh, well, it's whatever, I keep it on me, it's fine. And then when it does happen, they're just like, it's terrible, and then they get away scotch-free because it was accidental. But if more and more, I think, people are punished for it, then I think that people start to think, maybe I should think more about the safety of it while it's on me in my own home. And maybe some of these accidents could be prevented if people would start thinking about it more.
Absolutely. Googling reckless endangerment, I definitely feel like it could absolutely pass for reckless endangerment. And most reckless endangerment, when a child is involved, is a felony. So
Judge Infu made the right choice.
Judge Infu knows best. This is why we give you the marijuana and we just tell you to make a decision. Yeah, light one up and just make a decision, man.
I actually forgot that it was a felony when it involved a kid. There was when I was around 18, 19 years old, I was actually planning on going into law school, and I studied it for like 2 years, stuff like that, different laws and such to prepare. And that was something that I actually did touch up on, was like reckless endangerment laws and stuff like that and such. I did forget that it was involving a kid, though. It's been a while. Some of the stuff I learned has faded.
Fair. Very fair. So, our last topic, it's not about a kid. But it's not about a kid, but it's about a dog. On January 7th, a man was charged with animal cruelty after a video surfaced of the man throwing a 1-year-old Labrador onto a frozen lake, breaking the ice. Rather than submitting pleas, the man asked to be appointed attorneys. According to the reports, he threw the lab multiple times onto its back and made the dog swim in icy water back to shore. Told the court the report was false on 2 accounts. The first being the dog wasn't thrown on its back, and the second, he didn't throw the dog multiple times. Both men were appointed attorneys, and they're working on this case. Now, as Judge Infu, you're a judge now. He allegedly threw a dog onto ice, and there's a video. Literally, there's a video. What do you do?
First of all, that's
here's your marijuana.
First of all, that's animal cruelty. That is a definite charge of animal cruelty. I would. What is that? Moobot. Oh.
My mind.
Let's see. Yeah, and in addition to yeah, the man who done it should be sentenced to death. Yeah, like, you should charge him with animal cruelty, and then you should throw him into the lake as well.
You should get an extra frozen lake and tie him up. You have to restrain him to where he cannot, like, protect himself when you throw him. His arms and legs need to be tied in a way he cannot protect himself. And then you toss him a few times until the ice breaks. And then he has to swim to shore or die.
Yeah, exactly. And it's definitely one of those situations. From a legal standpoint, like I said, animal cruelty all day long. There is a few other charges, I'm sure. I'm sure that I don't know if he was animal cruelty charges or whatever. Like, there's not like a whole lot you can slap a person for with it. Like, there is, but there's not, if that makes any sense. And I'm not exactly sure what all the different ones he could be fine with for that. Since the dog wasn't killed, correct?
I don't think so. I don't think it said.
As long as the dog didn't actually die, I'm not 100% sure what all charges that he could actually be cased with from a legal standpoint. Now, from a moral, this is me talking standpoint, drown the fucker. Yeah, drown the fucker. He's going to that frozen lake. He's fucked. And, yeah, I hate animal cruelty. I hate animal abuse. And, personally speaking, I think that anytime someone does something to an animal, it should be done to them in return.
To end the podcast, I want to watch the clip that was clipped on the podcast. It's 25 seconds long. I don't know if I'll be able to share it with you, Infu, and you be able to successfully listen to it with screen share, but I am going to screen share it. So, I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. If not, let me get you the link real quick, and we can at least sync it up so you can listen to it as well. I pasted it to you.
Okay.
All right, tell me when you're ready.
I'm good.
I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1, and when I say 1, press it. Okay?
Sure.
3, 2, 1. Hopefully, my deep topic doesn't make you hate the podcast. Apparently, it was too far.
No, it's
apparently,
fine.
it was a little bit farther than I should have gone.
Don't worry about it.
You know. But yeah, I'm glad you came on. Please tell everyone where they can find you. Hopefully, my deep topic doesn't make you hate the podcast. Yep. Poor Mel.
That's a perfect clip. That's a perfect clip.
I agree. Great clip. Loved it. Well.
Poor Mel, dude.
Poor guy. It's his internet's fault. It's not his fault. For the record, it's not his fault.
He watched it. He watched the clip. That's honestly great.
Well, I hope everyone has enjoyed this edition of the BS podcast. Of course, if you want to catch up on previous episodes, there's video of the last few. We only started doing video lately, like the past 4 or 5 episodes. You can find those on YouTube. And if not, we're going to be streaming these every week on Twitch. I found this really fun, and I can't wait to continue to stream these. Otherwise, you can catch up on audio, whether it be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you want to listen to them audio-wise. It's all available to you. I hope to see you next week. And if not, hopefully you enjoyed this experience. I enjoyed this experience. How did you feel about this episode, Infu?
I had more fun with it live streaming it than I did on YouTube when we was just recording it. It is fun to interact with chat like that. I definitely think we should, in fact, do it more.
Agreed.
As for, I don't think you actually said, but is it? I mean, obviously, I know you said we were going to talk about exact starting times, but honestly, I felt like 9 o'clock wasn't that bad to start it myself. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay.
And I think, I think 9 is good. Yep. I'm good with it.
All right, cool. So in that case, then check us out next Thursday at 9 o'clock, everyone.
Eastern Standard Time.
Yep, Eastern Standard Time.
Time zones are important.
They are, and so we don't end up with another situation with a certain Australian.
People.
I know, right?
People with your time zones. Get your time zones, man. Ton of time zones.
For the most part, keep up with all of them. There's only like, I think there's only like a couple places that when I hear, I'm like, fuck, where's that at? Like,
I simply look them up. If I'm not 100% confident, or even if I'm only 80% confident, I look the time zone up. It's like, okay, this is your availability, and I verify. It's like, okay, so you're saying in your time zone, you're available between this hour and this hour. You verify it, and it's like, okay, well, you're either correct about the time zone we're in, or you're wrong about the time zone, and this is what this doesn't compute. You know. That's how it goes, man. No one person has been confused. And I've messed up too. I am not innocent of this. I have messed up as well, but I am experienced now. I'll only make that mistake 8 more times.
That's because we're only professionals here at the BS Podcast.
We're professionals at BS Back in the Shed. And BS Back in the Shed next week, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope to see you all there. Peace out, everyone.